Living on the water is the only life we know. Yo, ho, ho, ho. It's time for the Bodie Show.
It's time for the Bodie Show, Jeff.
It is, Stephanie. You're running the show today.
No, I'm not.
Nobody's running the show today.
Exactly. We're just going to let the show run itself.
Show's going to run itself. Where are we?
We are on the backside of Grindstone Island in the St. Lawrence River, facing Canada.
I can see it.
On a houseboat.
It's a barge yacht.
On a barge yacht.
How many stories does it have?
3.
How many cleats does it have?
17 and a half.
Yeah. We are looking out the window of the barge yacht at Canada, mainland Canada, and there's some Canadian islands in the mix too. I am sitting on the floor of the barge yacht next to the open glass garage door facing Melissa, who's in a beanbag chair eating her sandwich. And she just finished a paddleboard paddle, which she launched from the landing craft friggin' like party invasion ramp that the barge yacht has.
Party invasion ramp.
We are with our hosts, Julia Purcell and Rich Rossmassler, who's about to hop in a Bertram to go pick up. No, he's not hopping in a Bertram. He's hopping in a Highliner to go pick up a niece on the mainland. Let's talk about Highliners briefly. I don't know a lot about Highliners.
Well, let me just start by saying that they are hot as hell.
They are.
They're so beautiful. And we have some pictures because that day that you and I did some Highliner beer delivery services, I took a bunch of pictures so we can put those online so people can see the Highliner hot.
So Highliners, in my mind, they fit into the category of Bertram Moppy, 20-foot Bertram, Chris Craft Lancer. I'm trying to think of another. There was an era of deep V runabout design when the boat manufacturers gave up on like trying to replicate wooden boats. Right. And they're like, oh, OK, we're going to make cool new boats that we can make out of fiberglass because that's a thing now. And, oh, by the way, Ray Hunt designed the Deep V hull. Did he design the Highliner? So Ray Hunt designed so many amazing boats. He designed the Moppy for Bertram. And that's a hot boat. Mm-hmm. Rich is pulling at it right now. It's a flag blue hull with a white boot stripe, which is a sure hook in terms of boat attractiveness. What year is that, Julia? Early 80s. It's named the Rio Rossi. It's got good shade and canvas.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Rich told me about it. It's got a 24 or 26 degree V at the transom, which is a big deal. Oh, you're just admiring the Highliner.
Mm-hmm. Just got up and went around the corner.
Yeah.
You know how I don't like planing, and then I do.
Yeah. So the Highliner, the Bertram Moppy 20, and then the Chris Craft Lancer, probably all of a piece, all of a family of 70s deep V. Let's do this fiberglass runabouts, and they're sweet. I can't think of another manufacturer or make
that fits into that category. That kind of has me either. I mean, I think of like when you say all of those, I see what you're saying, and I also really nice. Look at that sweet little.
What do you see? Oh.
It's just looks like an 18-foot Lyman with an outboard, which is one of my favorite boats.
No, that's an inboard.
It is an inboard, yeah. But it's a little one, right?
Yeah, a little 18-foot Lyman.
Yeah, I like to see.
Or a Lyman like. That might be something, that might be like a Canadian wooden boat that we don't know the manufacturer of.
Yeah, it's Lyman-esque though.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think what you're saying is really interesting. What I think is like, I like thinking about the difference between when people were trying to make, like they have a new material, but for a while they used the new material to make it look just like the old material, even though there's the properties are different. So there's no reason to do that, except that's just what people were used to seeing. And then at some point somebody says, oh, the material would allow us to do something different that might work better.
Yeah. And wooden boats, there was an era of wooden speedboat where they were putting like World War II airplane engines in these things and going super fast. But you can't really pound a wooden speedboat that hard, right? The seams, the ribs, all that stuff, they're just not going to hold up under that kind of like repeat loading, right? And I
believe you. I don't know that. I don't know that to be true, but it certainly seems reasonable to me.
Yeah, and the wooden speedboats, they're still around. You see them, and they went really fast for the day, right? Like people were terrified of the early automobiles because they went so fast because they went like 30. Mm-hmm. So same deal. And so speedboat design, especially recreational production speedboat design, wasn't really a thing. Like the wooden speedboats were race boats. They were purpose built to race. They weren't serial built for people to buy. You could get a fast triple cockpit runabout that went fast for the day, but it probably didn't go more than 30, 35, 40 at the outside.
Okay.
And the big deal about the deep V hull is you could have made a wooden boat with a deep V hull, but a deep V hull actually takes a lot of power and has to go really fast in order to plane because it's a really inefficient planing surface. The force vectors, they're not pointing straight down in order to lift the boat up out of the water.
That makes sense.
The
Right.
V means that
At a
when you're
45-degree angle, kind of.
yeah, like whatever angle the V is,
Push harder against that.
right, to get
get
the
it.
lift. So you got to go really fast. Look at that. Geometry, force vectors. And Rich is going to get his cousin, niece,
Nice.
one of the two.
And bringing her back to this lovely section of the river, which we just learned is called
Hermit
Port
Hermit or Hermit Port?
Hermit Port.
A little Highliner history, just looking this up right
Lay it
now.
on us.
Yeah, please.
The reason my family and a lot of other people in the river are obsessed with them is because they are no longer made. So when one is available, they just buy it, whether they need a boat or not, which is usually they do not need it.
Those are good boat people right there.
Always. So, like, for instance, my Uncle Mark has, I think, at least 5 Highliners.
Nice.
Eric, at least 5, maybe 6. My dad, probably 5 hulls at one point.
Wow.
So they just collect them. But I just saw online that they might be making them again.
There's some of that happening.
There is
Yeah.
some of that happening.
Yeah. Somebody bought Shamrock and bought the trademarks at least. I don't know if they bought the molds and design.
And yeah.
This
I mean,
this is reinforcing my theory that there's a window of time where whenever like somebody's turning about 50, 55, whatever they want what was hot when they were 14. And so you can actually just slide that window in time forward and think about like who's 55 right now and has some disposable income. Also who's like not dealing with their kids anymore. And then you figure out like what was hot when they were 14 and then you just go buy that on spec and sell it to
I can't believe you're giving this
Julia's
like,
family.
You're like giving this like insider information out to the general public. I mean, it's really some deep market insight you put there.
I it's because I consider a lot like, okay, I like to fix up and sell fiberglass boats. I'm not really interested in doing that wooden boat. So like, which fiberglass boat should I buy
Yeah, now you have your
and
answer.
fix up and sell to somebody and make them happy?
A Highliner.
Clearly. I'm just
We
going
were-
to set up a side hustle, which is sourcing and marketing.
Highliners to Julia's
Yeah,
family.
you know who to sell it.
Everybody needs
Market
at
for a
least
new
12
boat.
each.
Like, everyone in my family was like, obviously, you're going to get a Highliner. Like, there was no discussion.
You didn't feel
And
like,
we hadn't even thought about it, but we're like, oh, okay.
and
That's
that's
amazing.
how that
Yeah,
Blue
no
Hull
choice.
came into your family?
Yeah.
Did you buy it from like your uncle or your dad or anybody?
Actually, David Taylor.
Who?
Who's the only other person with one around here. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
it made sense that we would swoop it up and add it to the
Yeah. And
family
who's
collection.
who in your family is all about throwing the outboard bracket on the Highliner?
I think Mark started that because he's extremely competitive and he used to be a race car driver and he just wanted to have the fastest boat.
And putting an outboard in the back made it easier
Apparently
to do
made it
that.
faster. Yeah, we used to have Highliner get-togethers and races at Little Jolly. And as obsessed with Highliners as the Purcells are would be Paul Gebhardt. And you should have him on the show
I've-
because he can give you all of the history and the details and the specs. And
On Highliner. So if
Highliner.
we're gonna do, we can do a
he has
Highliner
3
bonus.
different models of Highliners.
Oh, because there aren't that many
I think
differences.
there's only 3, and he has all. Maybe
We should do it.
We should call him right
talk,
now.
Talk to Paul.
Paul. Hey, Paul. You may not be listening to this. In the event you are listening to this, we would like to do a Highliner bonus episode, an entire episode dedicated to Highliners, where we talk to you about Highliners, go for a ride in a Highliner, talk about the differences in the 3 models of the Highliner, talk about why Mark is committed blasphemy. Mark committed blasphemy by putting an outboard bracket on the back. There's a little controversy. Yeah, Mark, we're calling you out.
What? I think
It was the fastest though. So
Well, then the results speak for themselves. Mark, nice work.
apparently at some point in the last week, Jeff has decided he hates outboards.
No, I don't hate outboards. I love outboards.
Okay, I'm just
Are we going to talk about this?
stir it up a little. Let me stir it up a little.
Yesterday was the Thousand Islands Charity Poker Run,
Poker run.
which is an event that attracts people from all over the country and
Yep.
Canada.
Julia hates it.
Julia hates it. She's almost been run over by Poker Run hangers on, which is a type. There's a crew of people who will come along for the ride during the poker run.
It's like
Wannabes, and they're the ones that are getting hammered and driving really fast and recklessly. The poker run is actually pretty well controlled. Yeah. And a poker run I think we've talked about before. What's a poker run, Stephanie?
Well, yeah, it's a good question. We have mentioned this before. It's actually a really, to me, initially confusing concept because I don't understand what like the poker has to do with boats. But, I mean, so there's these really big boats. I mean, with really powerful engines and they go really, really fast. And
big speedboats, cigarette boats.
A cigarette boat is a brand.
Cigarette is a speedboat manufacturer.
Penis boat.
Also, Julia's calling them penis boats.
Penis boat, blow boat.
Yeah. All the above. Piss boat.
Piss boat.
Yep. There's a lot. But what's the actual name? Speedboat? They're just speedboats?
I think of them, it's an offshore race boat.
Offshore race boat sounds right. Anyway, so these big boats and they come together and they get together and they go from place to place and then they collect a card at each place and then somehow, which keeps it from being a race, which I get, right? So the point is there's some competition involved because you want to have a good poker hand.
Yep. There's a winner at the end, but not necessarily the person who...
It's not based on speed.
Yeah, who went the fastest.
Yeah.
Because these things, they're offshore race boats. They're meant to be offshore in the ocean going 80 to 120 miles an hour over the top of giant waves. And if you Google offshore boat racing and look at a few YouTube videos, you're going to see what these boats are capable of. Poker runs typically happen in more, basically more confined waters, more recreational settings than just like straight offshore hammer down.
They do?
Yeah.
Why?
It's more about getting together and hanging out.
Okay, because it's super interesting.
Showing off.
We talked about this before because you and Missy and I, a few years ago, we volunteered at the charity poker run and we served 1,000 people dinosaur barbecue.
We did
something.
that. I got a shirt that says staff on it. I'm so proud of it.
And so we served all the poker run people, like all the I don't know, what are they, teams?
Yeah, teams. They have matching. They have uniforms, matching outfits.
They have a lot of matching outfits, which Jeff and I are jealous of.
We want more matching outfits in our life.
And then, so more to come on that. But yeah,
once we get our merch act together, there's going to be some matching outfits.
Yeah,
Bodie Show Poker Run race shirts.
Yeah, obviously,
with fake sponsors.
But yeah, so like there's a lot of intensity around the visual, the side of it. Like it's it's really intense, and but yeah, they go to different places, and I guess they get a card, and then somebody wins a poker hand. I don't know. That's all I know.
The poker run's the boat equivalent of like a classic car cruise or cruise in. So like if there's a classic car show, muscle cars or whatever, then they'll often have a cruise where they go drive around.
They do drive around, or do they just go to a place and everyone looks at everyone else's car?
Yeah, there are those kinds of car shows that are very static, and then but I think the most fun ones are where they're like, okay, like at 5:00 we're gonna have the cruise, and they all like roll out of the car show setting and they go cruise around town and like people go out and watch them. That happens here. Like yesterday I got to see the poker run. It was more incidental because I was doing some stuff. I actually fixed Stephanie's stern light.
Thank you.
That's not double entendre.
There's some old business.
I'm cracking myself up with that.
Oh dear.
I'm sorry. Okay. No, when it's double entendre, I've fixed Missy's stern light. Missy's studiously ignoring us right now. Missy's stern light ain't broken. So back off, bub. Suck it. Jesus. I'm going to have to bleep that out. Missy's off mic. So I fixed Stephanie's stern light, but in the process of doing that, I had to go back to the dock and get Missy and bring her over. And I was trying to fix Stephanie's stern light before she got to her boat in the morning so that it would be a surprise. And I had to cross the poker run. The poker run was going up and down the channel. And so I was crossing between Thousand Island Park and Rock Island. And so I was waiting for a break in traffic. Where are we going with this?
Well, we were just talking about what the poker run is.
Yeah, and they were going by. And I missed all the big boats. Oh, we're talking about my outboards.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're right.
I think.
Thank you.
So I missed all the big boats. And so it was just a bunch of outboard-powered poker run boats going by, which is like weak. I'm sorry. If you're going to have a big, garishly decorated speedboat and you're going to have matching outfits and you're going to go fast, it should be all the theater. And the theater of the giant offshore race boat is the giant big block displacement engine, the noise it makes, right?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I'm going to have to liberally disagree with you.
Oh, okay.
I mean, first of all, we just learned that Mark won the race with an outboard. Mm-hmm. So I also would say that the last time we were down there...
He won the race, but he lost the theater. Like he lost the
Because it didn't sound as good to Missy?
Oh.
Is that what we're talking about here?
No, there's other reasons.
No, there's not.
No, there are.
Like what?
Mm,
None. Like
sounds good to me.
But remember the big Missy liked the big outboard, like all 5 outboards firing up at the same time, right, Missy?
You did?
She did.
The outboard motor's firing up, Missy. You like that? You didn't hate it. That's a Missy answer if I ever heard one.
So I feel like more research is needed, and I feel like you're being a little dismissive of the outboard theater. I mean, there's 5 of them, and they match the outfits. So
All right, you got a point. You get a point.
Extra credit for that.
Yeah, like if you're matching outfits, match
Your outboard.
the coloring on your color of your outboards, then you get credit for that. If your outboards are different colors and they are color arranged and all of that matches your outfit, then you get points for that.
Yeah, and I just feel like, again, I'm just going to reiterate my general point, which is that I'm quoting one of my many idols here on the river, which is to say that I don't really care how people enjoy the river. I don't have any judgment around people who, although I do agree with Julia that sometimes shit gets sketchy, and I almost got hit last year.
You almost got hit last year in the dark by one of the Poker Run wannabes. By
2 just big boats. I'm not saying it was in any way related to the Poker Run. I don't know, but I just 2 of that style boat. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I had to go into reverse to not get hit.
I think that that is a good point for why people should be safe on the water no matter what.
Yeah.
I've also been almost hit twice by people who were not in speedboats. They were speeding in like smaller regular boats, and they were probably drunk or not paying attention.
Yeah.
Like I was coming back I went for a sail into a thunderstorm, hoping for the best. Didn't work out. Had to pull into a dock. And then I think we'd left our cell phones. Had to
someone else's dock.
Someone else's dock, yeah, on Picton. Had to somehow Missy came and got us. And on the way back, we almost got freaking T-boned out of nowhere by somebody hauling ass between Picton, Murray, and Grinnell. And I swerved left and they swerved right. And if either of us had not swerved the way we swerved, it would have been ambulances. And that's why I try to always put a life jacket on it when I'm boating at night. Because
was it night?
Yeah, it was at night.
Yeah. That's quite, I mean, we've talked about this a little bit before, boating at night, but I was just talking again about, especially to other moms, about kids and boating at night.
Yeah.
And man, you can't. It's around here. I don't know where people are listening from, but here in the Thousand Islands, you really can't overstate how tricky it is because people are going in different directions and everyone's lights are configured differently. So it's really hard to tell unless you're staring at that light configuration. And even then, it's hard to tell. Are they coming at you, going away at an angle? It's just really tough. It's tough. Go ahead. Julia wants in.
Yeah, Anna and I were talking about this the other night on the way home, but we think the best thing you can do as a parent is to not scare your children about boating at night. Like the best thing you can do is boat with your kids at night a lot, like all the time.
Yep, exactly.
And get them super comfortable with it.
Yep.
Yeah. And this is a big deal here in the Thousand Islands because there are a lot of people who spend their time here on an island. And if you're only boating during daylight hours,
it's different.
It's different. You know, it's not just like going out for a boat ride for the fun of it. It's okay. I got to go pick somebody up who showed up at 10 o'clock.
Exactly.
Who's here for a visit.
Yeah.
Reasons that you need to boat at night, and it's not always because you're coming home from a party.
Yeah.
Even though it usually is.
Even though, yes, it is.
Yeah.
95% of the time it is.
Missy and I have figured out a good we where she scans and I drive and scan.
Yep.
And so if you're going to boat at night, and we throw our life jackets on.
Anna and I had the same conversation the other night. I was like, do you always scan? Like you never stop moving your eyes. That's what my mom taught me.
And I always tell everybody else to do it too. Like I want to hear from people. I don't want people to be like, does she see that? I want people to say it.
Yeah.
Right?
Speak up. See something, say something. Yeah. And like Missy's called out stuff that I regularly calls out stuff. I'm like, I had no idea it was there and I needed to know. So don't like boating at night. If you're going to boat at night alone, go slow.
And don't blast reggaeton.
And don't
never do that.
Especially when you're pulling into your houseboat while your kids are sleeping.
But also, I agree.
True story. Julia the other night was like texted proudly that she got home safe and that she shut off the reggaeton at least 100 feet before she got to the houseboat.
Well done.
It was like Mother of the Year.
Gold star moment.
Gold star moment.
Yeah, as we like to call those. And but also like more so true on the don't avoid it side of things.
Yeah.
And this time of year when the sun goes down at like 4 o'clock in the morning, it feels like great.
Yeah.
It's hard to practice at night because we're all asleep, you know.
Right.
So it's important to make sure you get out there and do it because
Yeah.
otherwise you forget and you get uncomfortable.
We're at a northern latitude. The sun sets here about a half an hour later than it does in Philly, which is 350 miles to the south.
Yeah.
So you got
It's long days.
long days in the summer.
And then all of a sudden it's like end of August and we're boating around and it's getting dark at 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock, yeah.
Yeah.
So practice in August. This goes to my thing with driving boats, kids driving boats, also kids driving cars. Like the more you do it, the safer you are.
It's true. Practice.
And that's terrifying as a parent because you got to put them out there and, okay, hope for the best.
And a lot of people have fancy boats and they don't want their kids driving them. That's what I keep hearing over and over. Like, there's teenagers that are not allowed to drive their parents' boats,
Yeah.
which is dangerous.
Yeah.
They're only allowed to drive a jet ski or something, I'm hearing.
Which are illegal to
is
drive at
even
night.
more dangerous.
And they're illegal, like it's straight up illegal to take a jet ski out at night. You can't get a jet ski with lights. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So parents, if you have kids and you hope that they are going to follow in your footsteps and be boaters, buy a frickin' beater, right? Or get over your gel coat and just let it happen.
Get over your gel coat.
Oop.
Also check your cotter pins.
Check your cotter pins, people. Oh, you know what? We've had kind of a busy week.
I
Let's go
know.
back over it.
I know, we really have. I mean, I don't even know where to begin. I'm just gonna blow through some stuff. Thursday was Yacht Rock, and Missy said, "Yacht Rock." Yes, Missy's first Yacht Rock. Woo!
Missy's first, my second.
Yep.
Yeah. What, Stephanie? What is Yacht Rock?
Yacht Rock is it's a fundraiser for a great cause, which is River Hospital, where I work.
Critical Access Hospital, 25 beds, serves a summer community and a year-round community, and the two support each other.
Yeah. And but basically what Yacht Rock is as an event is we found this really amazing commercial that was made in 1972 by the Canadian company at the time, Labatt. Labatt was making a beer called Labatt 50. And they made a commercial for it, and they made that commercial here in the Thousand Islands on a triple-decker
Tour boat.
Gananoque Boat Lines. And when we found that commercial randomly online, we were like, well, let's just recreate this exact commercial as an event. And that's what we've been doing for 10 years. So I guess it's been 5 years that we've been doing the event because we had to skip a couple for the pandemic. But yeah.
And I swear I was in your kitchen when you were like, we should totally do this as a fundraiser. And it was you making your job into your life. And not the vice versa.
It is really special. There is something special about it. I don't really know. I don't quite know.
And you guys went and bought a bunch of Labatt 50 for the first one?
Well, we didn't buy it though. We just went to the duty free. We went to the duty free, which is the duty free on the Canadian side, and I explained it to the owners. I was like, we want to recreate this Labatt 50 commercial that was done on the river as a fundraiser. Do you want to give us a bunch of Labatt 50 and some merch? And they were like, yes, we absolutely do. And they gave us the Labatt 50, and they gave us a bunch of glasses and hats and whatever, kind of like Labatt 50 stuff.
And we needed it because it was a shot in the commercial.
Exactly.
And we were recreating the commercial.
Yes,
So that
and
was a critical B-roll shot.
Exactly. And Julia was there on site, and she made a remake of the commercial from the event, which was amazing.
If you're interested, there'll be a link to the video of both the original and the recreation in the show notes. So this is something we're trying to do. So on the website, there are full show notes. So theboatieshow.com. And if you go to the episode and look and scroll down, you'll see pictures, or more than we've managed to do before. You'll see pictures of the boats that we're talking about, and you will see links to stuff that we've mentioned if we pull it off. And so we'll definitely put links to these videos in the show notes so you can check them out.
Yeah. So that's what Yacht Rock is. And it's raised over $50,000 for the hospital, which is really awesome. And it's become, I don't know, it's just fun.
Yeah. It's kind of
very silly.
An annual reunion of a bunch of people.
That's true. Great people, great group.
It's a costume party.
And it is also a costume party.
with many of the costumes provided by Stephanie via the
She Shanty.
The She Shanty. It's just like so much shit you can't make up.
I know, but we did talk.
What's the She Shanty, Stephanie?
The She Shanty is one of the random outbuildings with weird purposes on my property.
We're not going to go through them all right now, but I can confirm this is one of them.
Well, this was named by my son Sam accidentally in the moment because we have a she shed, which blah blah. Everyone knows about the she shed, and the she shed is this adorable little cottage in my backyard. And then
Not everyone knows about the she shed.
well, no, she shed's a thing, right, Missy? Yeah. Anyway, it's just
They know her
it's
she shed,
just
but
not my she shed, just the idea.
she
of a
shed in general, like man
yeah.
cave. It's instead of a man
Exactly.
cave, it's a she shed.
Yeah, and it's really just a little cottage to stay in, is all it is.
Yeah.
So there's that, but then when we had to salvage this collection of vintage nautical clothing, my friend Des and I had to save it. It was it was in desperate need of salvation. Like it was being moved, like literally, like a vintage nautical like hoarder was, and that her whole collection was being like given away to the thrift shop, and her name was Fane Deering, and we owe her. She's passed away many years ago, but she's like will live forever in our thoughts and memories because she did something amazing. She collected all these clothes, and we had to go collect them all and put them somewhere, and we had an ice shanty.
An ice shanty.
Which is, can you explain what that is? It's just
So when you go ice fishing, you can go out there and stand on the ice with no shelter. You can go out there and maybe put up a little tent. And when you drill your hole in the ice, you sit in the tent and wait for the tip ups, which are these little flags, like on a mailbox. A flag pops up when the fish takes the bait. Or you can have an ice shack, a ice fishing shack. And we used to have this event. It'll come back, which we called Ice Party, which was in February. Which up here is really beautiful. The days are longer, the sun's strong, and if there's no wind, like you can be out in really cold weather on the ice. But some of those ice parties, there was wind, and the kids couldn't hang out in the wind on the ice. So there was basically an old shed salvaged and thrown on a trailer, and that would get hauled out. And the idea was we'd put the kids in there when they started complaining that their hands were cold.
right, but in general, I feel like ice shanties are a thing. It's
Yeah,
normal.
ice fishing shanties.
And so you just drink in it while you're fishing.
Yeah.
Okay.
We didn't let the kids drink in it.
Nope.
They were like 5.
Gold star parenting. Anyway, so that's an ice shanty. So we had the ice shanty and we had the vintage nautical clothing collection, which was a lot of clothes. I want people to understand. It's not like we had 20 shirts. We had like 200.
I'm going to describe it in volumetric terms. So imagine a closet with a hanging rack that is 10 feet long minimum, packed front to like the whole way across with hanging clothes, and then a bunch of other hangers on the wall on hooks and stuff. So it's that plus like a bunch of other stuff. Or is it just the rack?
This is what it is now. Yeah. But yes, it's a lot, right?
Yeah.
So it's a lot of clothes. And
Hundreds of
articles. Yeah,
of clothing.
hundreds of articles of clothing. And a lot of it's still with the tags on,
Yep.
like never been used, blah, blah, blah.
What is vintage nautical? Will you help us understand that?
It just means it's clothes from prior decades. And
Polyester with some sort of maritime
sometimes
print.
polyester, but not always.
Terry
But
cloth?
But there was sometimes terry cloth, like the sailboat burnout shirts. But there is some polyester for
Mm-hmm.
a lot of polyester. Yeah, and it's just nautical themed. There's a lot of it that's nautical themed. There's
Anchors, sailboats. The colors are very like
sailboats. Yeah, there's seagulls.
blues and green, blues and yellows and seagulls and waves and all this stuff. Prints, a lot of prints.
A lot
Yep.
of prints. Yeah, it's amazing. It's so, but I all I remember is Sam taking a look at it at the ice shanty and the clothes and saying, we'll call it the she shanty.
He was probably
Next to
9.
the she shed, yeah. Yes. And so that's where it's been, and every now and then it's like our community dress up box, and so whenever we need to have a vintage nautical party, we basically,
As you do.
as you do.
So
then
Yacht
we
Rock,
just
like
dress up.
probably a third of the people at Yacht Rock were outfitted from the she shanty.
Maybe.
From the Fane collection.
Maybe. It's
Yeah.
more and more every year, which makes me happy, even though
Yeah.
the collection is getting smaller and smaller.
Why is that? Tell us why. It's a good reason.
Well, I mean, because sometimes if people should keep something, if they love something, they should keep it. That's one reason.
When you see you're often the one who makes that determination. You're like, that looks fantastic
Well,
on you.
and if people really love something and they'll wear it, then they should definitely keep it. It's not a precious collection. It's
No.
just, it's a lot of fun.
A working collection. It's not a museum collection.
Right.
And Yacht Rock, so everybody's outfitted in vintage nautical. We're on the third deck. This was all inspired by the Labatt 50 commercial from 1972. That happened. I had my first Bodie Show fan moment. Which
Oh, yeah, tell us about that.
Steph had been talking about for a while of like people walking.
Ooh, look what just happened.
A piece from
Julia just showed up.
It's a short sleeved terry cloth sort of sweater situation.
T-shirt, sweater,
sweater.
terry cloth with sailboat burnout pattern all over it.
Yeah.
and it looks amazing. It's making my entire day. Could you put some Yacht Rock on in the background?
And it's making me itch. most of the vintage nautical clothing makes
it's actually one of the least itchy items in the collection.
Which is doesn't mean it's not itchy.
Low bar.
It's just least itchy.
It's true. Okay, I love it so much.
Stephanie stuffed me into a terry cloth polo last year.
I did too.
It was really, really itchy and hot, and like I was pretty close to splitting some seams.
You did great.
I got into it.
You did.
I have a history of wearing like thrift store articles of clothing that are borderline inappropriate, which we
Really?
don't need to go into.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
That sounds like something I don't.
So we're at Yacht Rock,
know that
and
side of you.
I meet Stephanie walks up and says, "This is Steph." There's another Stephanie, and she was a new listener to the Bodie Show. So I had my first like, "Hey, I love your podcast. Like, what what's up? Talk about it." And I'm like, "Oh, hi. I've never met you before. Never even seen you, and you know more about me because of the podcast." And so that was really nice. It was really gratifying to meet somebody who was excited about the show and had a good time listening to it. So thank you, Stephanie, new listener.
Yeah, that was a
I
lot of
appreciate
fun.
it. It was nice to meet you. It was a lot of fun. So that was Yacht Rock. And then the night after Yacht Rock,
Boats and Floats.
Boats and Floats, our first Bodie Show community event on Rock Island. We had a good turnout. I'm going to say probably 20 people showed up.
Yeah, and probably 10 boats at least.
10 boats, yep. And there's been some posts on on Instagram from that. And we even had some people who are new listeners show up on a boat we've discussed, the Merci.
The Merci showed up. That was a high point for me.
Yeah. French canal boat, one of 5 in the U.S., powered by a diesel, front cockpit, big, tall, open salon. And you could tell Stephanie's petting the terry cloth t-shirt, sweater, sailboat burnout patterned shirt that Julia put on from the Fane collection. I can support the Fane collection very much. Like, it's fantastic. It's like a community builder.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah.
So moving back to the Merci, Steve and Trish Labuzetta, who own the Merci, and we've met because I think I'd met them. I definitely met Trish before. But anyway, they're new Bodie Show listeners, and they came to Boats and Floats because it was a Bodie Show event. And so we got to meet them and some of their friends who were along, which was pretty cool.
That was fabulous.
Do we want to talk about the like dark underbelly of Boats and Floats?
The grog?
Yeah.
I thought you were going to talk about the blackout wedding guests.
Oh, no, we don't need to talk about that.
Wait, the blackout? What happened?
The wedding rehearsal.
Were they drunk? Is that what happened?
Dude, there were like a decent number of them that were nonverbal, and they tried to leave for a long time.
Oh, really? Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't pick up on that. I was kind of ignoring them.
They thought we were there for the rehearsal.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And so they'd been at it.
Or when you guys first got there, maybe. You interacted maybe more than we did. I don't know.
They were taking pictures of us sitting at the picnic table as if we were there for the event.
That was a really funny confluence of things because it was our first Boats and Floats, and we're like after 5, Rock Island's pretty much ours, right?
Yeah.
We'll just go there and nobody will be there. We'll have a great time. But there was this wedding rehearsal going on. It was, and so we had our weird event and they had their weird event, and we were like
parallel play, weird events.
Yeah, it was very parallel play.
They showed up in a big old cruiser,
Sea Ray,
just like big old cruiser, and then a big pontoon boat. And if you're going to go to a party on an island, or if you're going to be drinking on an island, sometimes these things happen. So the cruiser left, and then the pontoon boat was like getting ready to leave, but they were missing somebody. So they sent 2 people out to look for the person that was missing, and the person that was missing came back, but the 2 people they sent out didn't come back, and so they sent another person out to look for the 2 people that were missing, and they came back.
My entire childhood at dead shows. Yeah.
So if you're gonna like go out on an island, you're gonna get a little tight. That can happen. Oh man.
So that was part of the dark underbelly supplied by Julia. Julia's like, don't forget the blackout drunk wedding.
The blackout drunk wedding was part of the dark underbelly.
And
I don't know if the grog.
The grog was amazing, though. I don't think there's anything dark about that except the rum. Do you want to tell us about
its
the recipe?
color, which was that of Worcestershire sauce.
You just need to put it in an enamel cup. Go ahead, Julia. Tell us the recipe.
All I need to say is that I dumped pretty much like 90% of it out the next day.
Even though it had helped loosen the lips of a number of people, right?
True. Yeah, it was nice.
It only took 10% of that grog. No, because it was made with Gosling's
primarily 151. A bottle
Goslings.
and a half of that.
Black
a can
rum.
of pineapple juice.
Which I didn't even know was a thing. 151
some
black rum.
bitters. Yeah, I inherited it, so we had to get rid of it.
Yeah.
True
well,
story.
It's not gone. You have a whole case of it.
Yeah.
No, you're trying rapidly. Like a bottle that showed up in my boat. It has since been. It was rapidly regifted to Mark Kellogg of Bill and Jack's. He's like, well, I have 3 bottles of ginger beer. We can make some dark and stormies. I'm like, it's gonna take a lot more ginger beer, or this might be the end.
Or very, very dark and stormy.
It's gonna take more ginger beer or a stomach pumping.
Maybe the dark underbelly is a new drink that we're gonna make with the 151. It's like a dark and stormy, but worse.
That's a better name than the Rock Finder.
The Rock Finder.
Dark underbelly. Ugh.
Is this Gosling? So you
We'll
had
have to try again on the
I liked
the
it.
large format Bodie show cocktail. That was an epic fail.
Well, we wouldn't want to be done trying.
no, especially because keep trying because
I liked it.
you did.
I did.
I had a sip. I wasn't drinking that night at all, and I had a sip, and I was like, I don't think this is a good idea. Like,
Well, I didn't say it was a good idea. I just said I liked it. I thought it was delicious.
it was really strong.
I think I had like 3 sips total, and I was like toasted.
Yeah. I didn't know Gosling's made a overproof 151.
I know. I didn't know either.
I love dark rum. That's my go-to.
Great. It's all yours.
Not
There's
that
only
dark.
17 bottles
It's the
left.
this is the darkest of the dark rum. Yeah. Hey, Bodie Show listeners, if you're interested in overproof Gosling's 151 black rum, get in touch. You can have all you want.
Or like no longer do people get a sticker when they win Boat of the Week.
You get a bottle of dark rum.
Like, bad idea rum
Bad
instead.
That's a good episode. Bad
I'm gonna
idea
send
rum.
it home with you guys.
I'll take
You've been
it.
doing that already. You already did that.
I'll take it. I'm not scared.
You'll just be finding it in your
No,
village,
you
like
don't
random
wanna-
places.
It's like a reverse scavenger hunt.
You don't want to find the clue. No, you can't take that home and put that on your houseboat because teenagers go there.
Oh, look at
You don't-
you. Now you're
So
like the
responsible.
No, I don't want you to
Keep it
have
in
to
the
deal
bilge.
with a stomach pumping.
Okay, I don't
We'll
think
hide it.
I'm stressed. I'm
Well, I
stressing.
can see that. I don't know what to tell you about that. Although I do feel like I should point out that my new nail polish color kind of matches the Bodie Show sticker.
Not
Get out, really?
A little bit.
I'm not good with colors, so I'll take your word for it.
You're a little bit colorblind, just to be clear.
Yeah.
Because this colors have come up before, and you've asked me for input, and I tell you mansplain colors to you. I just don't want people to think I'm actually woman-splaining colors because you're
Most
colorblind.
men are.
A lot of men are colorblind. Wait,
What?
no, we're still talking about boats and floats because another big event happened.
What is it?
Prop popping off.
Oh, prop popping off,
Anna Larson borrowed her dad's boat.
and she lost a prop. How'd that work out? Dessert.
Came in so hot and first performed the hottest docking I've ever seen in my life.
She just was on it.
She had to
was
get caught though, didn't she?
She was, well,
It's full steam ahead, and then she threw it in reverse, and I think that's when it happened.
there was no there.
But people grabbed her boat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Grabbed the stern. Jeff grabbed the bow.
Yeah.
Luckily, we were there.
Yeah,
Which I will say-
Julia,
yeah.
you caught a line and were you had to set yourself
Yeah.
into tug
I
of
saw her
war.
coming. I was like, "What's going on here?"
Well,
we were ready.
That happened to me too. Remember when not this last time, but the one
Right.
before.
Well, because it's a downwind,
Down current.
downwind.
Yeah.
down
There's
current.
way
It's a
more
really
current.
Very
tricky.
tricky, yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a really tricky place to dock.
If you're going to Rock Island, and I can't say enough good things about Rock Island, it's a magical little spot.
It's a New York State park.
Yep.
Right between TI Park and Fisher's Landing.
with really, really good floating docks. You should
Yeah.
go there. There's picnic tables. And in the afternoon, there's 2 really nice picnic tables that are in full shade. You can still see the water from them. And there's probably the biggest, most productive blueberry thicket I've ever
We picked
encountered.
So many blueberries with the kids. It was
Yeah.
really fun.
Yeah. There's
I
blueberries at,
recommend coming in the docking up.
Yes.
current if you can.
Yeah.
thank you, Julian. That's where I was
Yeah,
going.
it is.
Yeah.
It's very hard to dock on that down. I mean, I did. It took me 3 times to get in the right place.
Jay
this
brought
time.
his wooden boat, the Bluffer, in and tried to dock down current. And I'd never seen Jay flub a docking before. So it was really enjoyable.
Very entertaining.
It was.
Everybody should just come to Boats and Floats so you can watch everybody try to get into the spots
Yeah.
at Rock Island.
When you
It's-
just get
it's
there
hard.
early and
It's hard.
get there early and take an up current slip. and then like
Watch everybody else try to
post
dock
up
them.
and watch everybody else come in.
I swear to God, we did not intentionally pick the hardest place to dock in order to send.
It's not a hard place except for the down current.
for the down
part
current,
of
yeah.
it.
Which is where I always go because I always just like figure it's gonna be better on that side, but it's intense. Docking in there is intense.
So Anna flew in super
Yeah.
fast, threw it in reverse.
Ken, she
and
was
then she's
no.
like, that was weird.
Shit.
Hopped out of the boat.
It was Ken's-
partied for an hour and a half, and then went to go.
Yeah.
And that's when she noticed something was wrong.
She tried to put it in reverse, and there was no there yet again,
There was no there.
and it was making a.
Look at the time if the prop was there or not.
She did not look. She put it in reverse. It spun up really weird noise. Yes, Missy.
She did say, when I was docking, I thought I went. Did I go in reverse? And you and Steph's like, yeah, you were in reverse. Oh, it wasn't you? Who? It was you.
It was me. I was like, it was great. You did great.
It was
so
fine.
good.
And so she was like, I hope when I get in my boat that it's gonna go. It's gonna go in reverse.
She did. I
We'll
did hear
see.
her say like that was weird.
So,
Part of this is check your cotter pins.
yeah. So we're getting there. So everybody was very supportive. You did a great job docking, girl. You docked like the boss. You're a girl boss. You're a girl docking boss.
It's like the downside of supportiveness in the female environment. It's just like, you got this, sister. You got it. We love you. You did awesome.
Instead of like, you slammed it in reverse at the last minute. You almost wiped out the.
Be like, that was weird, and you don't suck that badly normally. So let's go look at your prop. That's what we'll say from now on.
From now on.
From now on, that's what we'll say.
So she's like, hey, I've tried everything and I don't know what's going on. And I like bent over and looked down. I'm like, oh, there's no propeller on the boat. She's like,
Did
what?
you send that picture around, being like, "What's wrong with this picture?"
I did.
Yeah.
I did. Mike Corrigan was the first to say there's an invisible propeller.
Yeah. Well done.
So he gets
Michael.
a sticker. It's in the mail. I'm like, well, it will be once the hot admin gets back to her, gets into postal position.
That was weird.
It wasn't until you said that.
No, it definitely was. She's right.
Right.
I wasn't going to say anything, but I'm glad she did. Called you right out.
So no propeller. Anna tilted the motor up, and there still wasn't a propeller. Oh, thank you. Snacks. Like leftover kid quesadilla. This is the best snack ever.
It is better when the kids didn't want it. Why is that?
I don't know.
I've been eyeing it up for like 15 minutes. I've been staring at it on the floor over there like, it's delicious.
So I'm like, oh, well, I have a spare prop. So I go over to my boat, and I've got an E-Tech 150. This is a 135, and I'm pretty sure they got the same prop shaft. So I get the spare prop. I bring it over. I'm like, but wait, I don't have a spare prop nut, which is dumb, because you can have a spare prop all day, which is fine when you hit a shoal, but probably 50% of the time, if you're out floating around and you hit a shoal and your prop gets all tore up and you got to replace you do a field replacement of your propeller, you're half
I
the
need a
time
nut?
you always need a nut. But if you have a nut already on there and it didn't get trashed by whatever accident you just had, half the time you're going to drop it in the drink because you're like hanging off the back of your boat. So you should have probably two spare.
You just have a bunch of nuts.
Yeah.
Right? It's true.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how many a bunch is, but
It's true though, because it's as I think getting to your point, like, what's the point of having a propeller that costs like $100 and blah blah dollars,
it's like $400.
and the nuts are inexpensive.
Nuts are easy to come by.
Yeah, and they're easy to come by. You may as well have a bunch of those.
Might as well at least two.
Yeah, exactly.
So
I get your point.
as it turns out, Ken Larson has been he's been calling all over town trying to find a spare nut, and he's been coming up
Empty-handed. There's no nuts. Are you saying that the Larsons can't find any nuts?
Nope. At least not ones that are the right size.
Why? But why?
I don't know.
Thank you.
Thank you, listeners, for bearing with us chewing leftover kid quesadilla. No, thank you. Into the microphones.
Talk about nuts. True.
We can't have
And lack of nuts.
we can't have a goddamn podcast without so much. Like, we should pick another topic.
Men's health.
There was a solid, probably like 18% of an episode that was devoted to squeezing fuel balls, which
It turns out it's a bulb.
it's a bulb. So
It's a skill that one must have.
what?
Ball squeezing. Bulb
Yeah.
squeezing.
I think I think from now on we need to go with bulb just to slow down the entendre.
Yeah, exactly. But apparently there are balls inside the bulb. I'm not kidding. I'm serious. I'm quoting a gentleman.
Who? Oh, who?
Scott Smith.
Scott
who
Smith.
is very well versed in all things about balls and bulbs.
Fuel.
He knows of what he speaks. He's an outboard expert in every way.
We're going to use this as a segue from talking about events of the week, Bodhi events of the week, to talking about old business. This was one of our listener corrections. It is not a fuel ball.
It's a fuel bulb.
It's a
with
bulb.
balls inside.
I heard from multiple listeners that they were yelling at their radio.
It's because you and I said it like a question so many times. Is it a ball?
Is it a ball? I think
it was the ball.
It's a ball. And then who were we with? It was like, yeah, it's a fuel ball. It's a ball.
Can't remember.
Yeah.
Oh, was it Patrick?
Yeah, Patrick. Sorry, Patrick. We totally remember hanging out with you at the show and doing a show with you. He's like, yeah, it's a fuel ball.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we all knew what we meant. Let's be honest.
We meant bulb.
We understood which part of the engine we were talking about.
Okay, that's first listener correction, old business. Next, we have more on valence electrons.
Let's hear it. Apparently, my description left some room for further description.
So from my very best friend, Mark Izzo. Also important to note that a valence electron is what is responsible for the chemical properties of an atom. Ethanol solubility is more an effect of hydrophilic and polar intermolecular interactions. Oop, there's a
Very loud boat going by.
yeah, Missy's all, oh, it's weak though. It's like small but loud.
Does it have outboard engines?
No, that has it. We all heard it, and it's of note because it has an inboard engine, an IO with a straight exhaust. It's just like, if you're gonna do that, you're gonna go fast. Like, why not make some noise? Like, if you're gonna be unsafe, you should. It's safer. It's very much safer. That's why like choppers are safer than quiet motorcycles. Like, just make some noise.
Wow. I think you're so wrong, but that's great. It's okay that we don't always agree.
Yeah.
Like, I think making a ton of noise is kind of obnoxious sometimes. I don't hate these boats because a lot of them have like they can throw the exhaust underwater. And
Captain's
it's more
Choice.
reasonable. Yeah.
That's literally like the brand name of the exhaust to Captain's Choice. You
Oh,
can switch
really?
between underwater.
As opposed to Admiral's Choice.
No, which I have come to learn is not just a segment on the Bodhi Show, Admiral's Choice, which we're going to have today, by the way.
I believe you.
Do you have one for me?
No.
All
But
right,
one
well.
might go by any minute.
Admiral's Choice is also what?
It's a salad dressing at Trek Subs.
So Drek Subs is a North Country submarine
Sub
hoagie,
shop, yeah.
whatever, sandwich shop.
And they have like they make their own. So it's like Trek Subs, and there's like an Admiral guy who's like the
Is he's the mascot?
mascot guy, yeah. And they have, so Admiral's Choice is their particular brand of dressing that you can get on your sandwich, but I have no idea what it is.
My guess is it's whatever they got to get rid of.
Yeah. My guess is it's a lot like the stuff we used to make at Foxy's and call 1,000 dressing, and we had like a 4-gallon tub of mayonnaise and a 4-gallon tub of ketchup and a 4-gallon tub of relish, and we mixed them all together.
Are you telling me that that's what Thousand Islands dressing is?
Maybe that's what it was. And that's really what it is. Yes.
Yeah, Thousand Islands
That's what it
dressing.
is.
It's just something.
It's just seeing it in that quantity was, it leaves you disturbed for many decades. Decades later. That's all I can think about is relish and ketchup and mayonnaise. Those are the three.
I love all
components.
those things, and that's why I love Thousand Islands dressing, because it's all those things, and I don't have to do any work to put them together.
Well, you should go work at Foxy's.
No. You don't want me.
Everybody's doing it.
You don't. No, you don't want me interacting with the general public.
You could stay in the kitchen and mix some gallons and gallons of
No,
mayonnaise.
because then somebody's going to complain about something that I did, which is really ultimately interacting with the general public. I don't. No, it's not just stress. It's just like I wouldn't work at Foxy's for very long. I would probably.
You should go get fired from Foxy's.
That's a bucket list item. We have more old business. So,
We do?
yeah.
How is that possible?
We have another listener correction. 2-stroke motors. I described 2-stroke and 4-stroke motors exactly the same way and
Wait, it is
pretended
true.
like
I
they were
remember that.
different.
Wait, who corrected you? I'm so curious.
Like Scott Smith and Dave. I think Dave Irving did.
Okay, a bunch of people.
At least those two.
Okay, that makes sense. All right, so again, 1, 2, 3, 4 versus 1, 2.
Yeah. So a stroke is the piston traveling along the length of the cylinder once. It's not an out and back. So a 2-stroke motor, there's an explosion, piston goes down the cylinder. That's the first stroke. And then the piston goes back up the cylinder on the return. And in an original carbureted two-stroke engine, the piston would come back up and it would push the exhaust from the first explosion, the gases from the first explosion out. At the same time, it was pulling in the fuel air mixture that was ready for the next explosion, and they would inevitably mix. The gases from the first explosion would mix with the fuel and air from the explosion that was about to happen next, and it would push some of that unburned fuel out.
And that's why they're worse for the environment.
Yeah, so you'd be basically putting raw gas into the air along with a bunch of oil that gets mixed with the gas, because you have to have the gas had to be slippery enough because there wasn't enough time to actually oil the cylinder so that it would have reduced friction. True.
You just lost me. You don't have to say all that again.
No.
The look on Stephanie's face when you were describing that whole thing was priceless.
What was the look?
She looked a combination of her brain hurts and she might potentially have a brain freeze. That was my...
I was working hard. My brain was working hard.
I also completely tuned it out. I have no idea what you just said.
Yeah.
You were busy taking pictures of my weird face. I know. It's hard to learn new things, but I'm doing it.
So, internal combustion
Yep.
explosions.
Yep.
Energy of the explosion is captured by a piston in a cylinder.
Yep.
Explosion happens, cylinder goes down.
Yep.
Now, that explosion left some smoke behind.
Yep.
That smoke's got to get out of the cylinder.
Yep.
On the way back up, the piston is acting like a plunger. It's pushing that smoke out. At the same time, you got to get fuel, gas, and air
Yes.
in there for the next explosion.
I think I'm there. I
So
got it.
So the outlet and the outlet of the exhaust, inlet of the fuel and
happening
air
at the same time.
They're open at the same time.
Yes.
The exhaust and the new fuel and air mix, and some of that gets pushed out.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense to me. I thought the description you did before was really good.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
ow! Jesus Christ!
It was a
Missy
horsefly.
just
A horsefly.
I have headphones on. I can't hear you. Missy
I was
just
watching this whole
Missy
thing
just,
happen.
Whoa, that's a big greenhead.
Yeah. It's a
Missy just like wailed me to kill a horsefly. I had no idea it was coming.
This is a nature moment. This is a nature moment brought to you by...
No, don't be sorry. You killed a horsefly. It was about to bite me.
It was amazing watching that whole thing happen. So here's what I want to say. My pain face was actually me understanding exactly what you were saying. Like, I just have to make that face in order to let my brain work. I have to make that weird face. You did a good job
That's
the first
your
time I
learning
got it.
face.
That's my learning face. Yeah, I totally got it the
thank
first
you.
time. Yeah, I got it.
But the peanut gallery here was thinking that I wasn't doing.
They were just thinking it was hilarious and ridiculous watching my crazy face. Yeah,
okay.
yeah. But no, I think it's good to say it again though, because it is complicated and not everybody knows what any of this stuff is.
Yeah.
But I got it, and I did notice the difference between this description and the one before. Because when you were describing it the first time a couple episodes ago,
Yeah.
in my head
I was completely wrong.
Well, you were completely wrong. But also at the time I was like, so how does it end up being worse in that situation for the environment? And now I know, because the at the same time piece.
Yep. But a 4-stroke explosion, and then the cylinder comes back up. It pushes the exhaust out. It goes back down, and that's when the fuel and air gets put in, and the exhaust port closes.
Yep.
And then the cylinder comes back up. It actually compresses the fuel and air mixture, which then gets lit off. And that's in part why they burn more run more efficiently. So they compress the fuel and air, so you get more of a better explosion. So you get more energy out of the fuel. So that's a whole other thing that makes 4-strokes better. Not just that they don't that they don't blow like unburned gasoline mixed with oil into the environment and make blue smoke no matter what.
Beautiful. Whew. Good job.
That was a lot. That's the most old business we've
Give
ever
yourself
done.
a little applause button right there. Do it.
I got coached by Jay for how to do the applause. Hold on. He said, do this.
Oh, so nice.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Good job. That was great. And a lot of focus.
Thank you, Jay. Oh,
Oh.
That's actually kind of a hospital.
Also, I want to go on record saying that Julia just sat next to me and said,
It was kind of hot.
that was kind of hot, she said.
all right. So, boys, with your outboards, you
Stop
might
by the barge yacht.
Yeah. No.
Oh,
Boys with your outboards, I don't know. Like you might have the fastest boat, but the ladies don't care. I'm just saying, there's
I'm not
two
being
out of
involved in
three
this conversation.
2 out of 3 ladies currently hanging out on this barge yacht, which is statistics, are down with your straight exhaust big block IO.
Oh, look, what's this right here?
Oh, there's a Highliner come in. Look at that deep V. Man.
Also kind of hot.
Yeah. I think he's making an entrance too. Or does that always drives in? Julia says, no, he's showing off. God, that's a good boat. Look how deep the V is. Coming off plane.
When we were talking about the Highlanders before, I was thinking
that's a show,
I was thinking
right? Highlander.
It
or
is.
something?
It
It's
is.
a
but I
Highliner.
would-
Highliner's
oh
boat.
shit!
No, you're
Shoot.
good.
Shoot, Highliner.
Or Hillner, as some people
I was
call
thinking about, Jeff, your favorite line from Letterkenny that I can't say right now on the show because it's a family show. I was thinking, what do I have to do to get a Highliner? Oh, it's that guy's wife that you like so much that's just like loaded all the time.
So Missy, you were
Clearly.
literally just saying, "Who do I got to get a Highlander?" That's what was going through your head.
Well, there's a whole lot in Julia's family. I counted 15.
Girl, you are the best. Oh God. Apparently, you get to take your pick.
It's only like 3 dudes, though. That's the good news. News.
Oh shit. The line is, "Who do I got to get a gin and tonic around here?" Yeah, and I'm blanking on her name. Oh God, that's great. If you don't know Letterkenny, look it up.
15.
50.
So much we're not going to talk about.
So like, I don't know.
All going to get edited out anyway.
No, that's not getting edited out. I'm sorry, it's too good.
All right. Now, listen, are we still on old business? Because we're on hour
No.
3,
Oh,
as
geez.
usual. We should probably let Julia get back to her life at some point.
Yeah, we are. We were. So, new business. We invented a whole new activity for the Bodie Show. On the way over here, we were looking for cool boats.
Yes, we were. And we found them, too.
Yeah, we found 2 in particular.
Yeah. And then basically, the activity is, we like your boat. We're going to come up to you and give you a sticker.
That's a pretty good activity.
That's the activity.
The best
Like,
activities are the ones that are fun and don't really take much.
yeah. And there's a little bit of awkwardness built in.
Oh, I hadn't thought about that part.
Did you somehow not notice the awkwardness? Because it was amazing. That was my favorite part. I'd be like, "Hey yo," just wait, and there's just dead air, and they're like, "We don't know you. Why are you rafting to us?" And we're just like, "We have a podcast, and this is a sticker." And they're like, like just processing.
It was awkward.
It was
You're
great.
right.
I loved it.
I was so
like,
excited about the boat that I was like skipping over the awkward part.
Also, why not skip over the awkward part? Like, who cares? I mean,
All right.
that's, we're rock and roll, but it was great. It was very fun.
So we'll keep doing that activity. And the first boat was docked at Rock Island, and it was like a really, really
Oh
cool,
my God, it was so cool.
semi-custom houseboat on a pontoon boat hull. Tri-hull. 140 Suzuki, so cruises at 25. Just got to get that out of the way so I don't get yelled at. And do you remember the name of the manufacturer? Can you look that up?
I got what?
So the manufacturer, the backstory, manufacturer was... Stop it. It's a French name that Missy is butchering off mic.
Hold on. DAIGNO.
DAIGNO. And the owner said it's Daigno.
Daigno.
Yeah.
Sounds right.
So dude making them
That's what I said.
dude making them was a cabinet maker, like a high-end cabinet maker. And then he decided to build himself like a cool houseboat, pontoon boat situation. And so he did. And then he's like, wow, this is great. And other people wanted them. So now he's a boat maker.
Yeah. How many? Tell me. Theirs was the number
6th. Yeah. Or in there.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah. And
Well, it was the 6th one ever. And they found it. Like, they just found it online.
Yeah.
And they're from Syracuse. They're not from Canada.
Nope. And they wanted a houseboat that was trailerable, and all the ones out there were not what they wanted. And the cool thing about this is it looks like there's basically a teardrop camper.
Yeah, it looks like exactly. It looks like a
Right.
teardrop camper.
And using some of the like doors and windows of a teardrop camper on the back of the pontoon boat, but like beautiful wood trim. The sort of curving roof is made from laminated wood that's clear finished, so you can see it on the inside. It's kind of cabiny with tongue and groove ceiling, much like I'm just looking up right now in the barge yacht, tongue and groove ceiling. And then the front is like full on porch situation with like tables and really nice chairs.
I like that a lot. The only piece to me was like, if it's pouring rain, where do you drive from?
Oh, that's a good question, because the steering wheel was outside. There is a bimini that would fold over it.
There is. There
Yeah.
is.
So if hopefully it's
I just wasn't sure. That was the only part. I was like, this might seem slightly impractical for like, I don't know.
this is more of a fair weather cruising houseboat.
Fair enough.
Like if it's pouring rain,
the
you're
whole
probably
point is
gonna.
it's a houseboat, so you can just stay where you are if it's nasty.
There you go. You solved your own problem. Nice work.
Thanks.
And then the other boat that we saw was
know what that was.
It was a Beneteau, which is a historically a sailboat manufacturer.
Really?
Yeah, it's a French sailboat manufacturer. And
Second one?
the second one was the Beneteau, and but the that was the make. The model it began with an A or something like that.
Oh, okay. Got it.
And we chatted with them. If you can remember it? Did you take a picture?
Yeah.
You can zoom in on that. Full pilot house, relatively small. I'm going to say no more than 25 feet. Outboard powered, full pilot house, doors in the back. These are year rounders, and so they were like, "Yeah, we got this thing. There's a heater in here. We can go out all year round. Big glass, which I'd like. I'd like big windows when I'm driving, or just chilling in the pilot house because I want to see what's outside.
Yeah, it's funky, right? It's like it reads a little bit like hardtop, but like I can see the sailboat lines to it in a way, and I can't. I've
Kind of a plumb bow, meaning the point of the bow goes straight up and down.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is that's a very attractive design element that can be in a lot of modern sailboats. That plumb bow goes straight up and down, and that's because they want really long water line. Because sailboats move at displacement speeds, it's all about water line length for how fast you can slip through the water. There's a formula.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's for another show. Yeah.
Ooh.
What? Oh, here comes the Highliner approaching.
Sorry,
the
got
other
distracted by the Highliner coming in. Really smoking hot.
Gentlemen, if you're interested in attracting ladies, get a Highliner. Because apparently, a Highliner will leave some of them speechless, and the other ones.
But when you're right, you're right. Also, when you're right. I mean, we just sort of had to stop the podcast because I was like staring at the boat and being like, "Whoa."
Yeah. Rich and Rio are back. Young Rio.
Okay.
All right. The last.
Please tell me we're done with old business.
That was new business. Going around with
God.
stickers.
Okay, great.
We were done with old business a while ago.
Okay,
You've been stressing this whole time.
No, I'm not stressed at all. I'm
right.
just saying things out loud. I'm
Okay.
good. I'm having a great time.
Okay. New business, new segment. Actually, not a brand new segment, but Admiral's Choice. And I want Julia's read on this. So you have to pick up the peanut gallery mic. Yeah.
You know what's happening?
Yeah. All right. Julia, you're going to present this.
This is
it's the
Admiral's
video.
Choice.
This is Admiral's Choice. Ladies and gentlemen. Admiral's Choice is a Waypoint 29 spotted yesterday.
Wayward 29.
I'm sorry, Wayward 29 spotted yesterday.
Called the Wet Dog.
Yeah, name's the Wet Dog. Good one. Yep.
I can't believe it's not already yours.
Is it from Belize?
It's made in Belize,
It's very, very pretty.
right?
It's not too nice.
28 feet long,
29.
29 feet long.
Wait,
This thing is very sweet. Bench seating.
bench seating.
The Bauhaus, like custom bench.
I'm intrigued.
Missy and I went to DePrinzio's, saw Michaela. Hey, Michaela, hope you're listening. She's our consulting marine biologist for the
Hold
Buddy
on.
Show.
Hold on. Okay, that does not look 29 feet long at all. Oh, wait, I see. Scale is off. Oh, now I see. It's enormous. It's like a whole houseboat almost.
The Wayward 29 is in terms of length, yes.
I love the decky deck.
Look at the driving position.
I see it and I don't quite understand it.
So this is it's a speedboat hull, so long and pointy. It's got a really, really nice curve to the gunnel, which is the perimeter of the boat at the deck where the deck meets the hull. It's got a sharp point, sharp bow.
Sharp point, sharp bow, yes.
And strakes along the bottom, which knock spray down.
What do you mean?
It's like basically like a
I don't
big
see a strake.
on the bottom.
Oh, do you mean
Those lines.
yeah, like where it changes color?
Yeah. It's the whole hull's white, so it only looks like it changes color.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so it's like a giant, completely open speedboat hull.
Yeah.
The driving positions. There's a big bench seat across the stern, right in front of the outboard motor.
Why is the wheel so low compared to where you're sitting? Is there another seat in there?
Because you're just chilling. It's like like when you sit up
Oh,
on
you're driving with your feet. Never
Yeah,
mind. We're fine. Never mind. I
Exactly.
get it now.
Did you meet the owner?
No, he docked and then walked into town and didn't come back. We would have met the owner. I think Rich might like this boat. I have a feeling.
It's really cool. I can't
There's
see
a-
the bow yet.
Yeah, the video I got isn't great. I took it from the boat. The
I'm so interested in that seating position for the driving.
driver. The
Okay,
bench seat
now
is
I
the
see
bench
it.
seat is up high and across the stern at the back of the boat, right in
Yeah.
front of the outboard motor. And then the wheel and console and throttle and everything are on the right hand side. So you sit up and like the steering wheel's down low and you're resting your feet kind of like just below that and or driving with your feet. And then the entire rest of the boat is open. And in the bow, there are 2 bench seats, one along each side. So you could have a whole bunch of people chilling in front of you while you're driving. And then, or you could have your friends with you sitting in the back. And what I'm attracted to in terms of the dynamics of the boat is when you sit, super fast jet ski going by. That guy's unsafe at any speed. What I'm interested in is when you sit that far back on the boat, there is no vertical acceleration. The bow goes up over a wave, but you're not anywhere near the bow. You're at the back. And so you're just like sitting in this nice, stable location. Richard, what do you think of that?
I would happily rock that boat.
I saw that thing and I actually thought of you. I was like, oh,
Well said.
yeah. Yeah. And that, it might as well be putting an order in. That's as good as a down payment. So
I want to drive it.
it's made in Belize. Rich has an affinity for South America. He's coming back.
Flat bottom boats are my favorite.
You can get to a surfboard with an outboard engine on the back.
Yeah. So that's the Admiral's choice. What do you think?
I love this boat.
Yeah.
And I feel like we need to find those people, give them a sticker,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
figure out how to get them to let us drive that boat. I want to drive it. That's what I want to do.
It is a very, for like our sort of world of boating, a very atypical layout.
Right, complete. Like, so it's for something so big. There's so like I kind of love the fact that it's just a simple boat.
Yeah. It's a big, beautiful speedboat hull, but like there's not much. There's no radar arch. There's no this. There's no that.
Exactly.
Looks like
and
a
that's
good
kind of
time.
refreshing.
Well, simple is more fun.
It's such a big boat. 29 feet is huge.
Yeah. Yeah. So listeners.
I love it. I love it.
You love it?
It's a great pick.
You're welcome.
Very interesting, very
Yeah.
different, but clean. And I like that sweet little the wooden finish on
Yep.
the decky thing.
Yep.
I love. What's interesting to me is when I'm looking at it, the interior does not look like 29 feet. It doesn't look inside like it's that big.
Yeah.
That's a huge boat.
Yeah, it is. It's not particularly wide, which could be helping with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I would like very much to drive it.
It's got raw teak decking on the bow and the stern.
My
which is,
immediate feeling is I want to drive that boat.
yeah, I do too. I want to sit up on that thing and drive with my feet.
I want to drive it and ride on it and see what that's like in
Right.
comparison to each other.
Right. So,
Excellent choice.
Thank you.
Excellent choice.
Thank you. I gotta
Well
give
done.
myself some.
Well done. Yes.
Admiral's choice.
Yeah, you picked a boat that I definitely do want. Thank
Good.
you.
That's
Thank
a
you for
win right
that.
there.
Thank you.
The St. Lawrence River listeners, if you are the person who has the Wayward 29,
Yeah, hit us up.
hit us up. If you know that person, or if you know where this thing lives, like what area of the river, hit us up.
We're not above stalking, apparently.
No, it's front loaded affection.
Oh yeah, front
That's
loaded
a call.
affection.
That's a callback to early Bodie Show days.
Yeah.
Front loaded
It's
affection.
just front loaded affection. It's not actual stalking.
Yeah, odds are somebody who's listening to this has seen this thing go by, and we'll put pictures up in the show notes and hopefully on social media too.
And the show notes are on people should know the show notes are on the website. Go
Through-
to bodyshow.com to see all the pictures.
Yeah, go to thebodyshow.com and you can see the pictures. And I'm going to do a little research and post links about the Wayward 29, mostly so that I can send them to Rich so he can put a deposit down.
Yeah. We're all about promoting good ideas here on the Bodie Show.
Yeah, we'll just have a little. We'll have a little rum.
Yeah. Exactly.
Don't put it anywhere near a computer and some rum.
We're gonna. Rich just said, "Don't put me anywhere near a computer and rum." So we're gonna put him. We're gonna cast him off in the Highliner with a bottle of Gosling's 151
really strong
bad
internet
idea
connection.
rum. And a Wi-Fi hotspot.
And a strong
And
signal.
he's not allowed to come back until he's put a deposit down on a Wayward 29. He's kind of like smiling, but in a knowing, like that's probably going to happen way.
When you're right, you're right.
When you're a boat person all the way. Okay.
What's next, Jeff?
It's the boat of the week, stable or sleek. Check out that vessel, baby, isn't she sweet? It's the boat of the week, the boat of the week. Ooh, how I love me, the boat
Houseboat or Beneteau?
I don't know.
They're different enough that this is a conundrum. The Beneteau is like an all-weather
Conundrum?
cruiser.
Do you mean conundrum?
Conundrum.
Is that French
That's how it's
for
Philly.
conundrum?
That's like how you pronounce it in Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Maybe it's German. You were speaking German to me earlier
did say
while I was
Scheisse.
filling the engine oil on my outboard engine.
All by yourself.
All by myself, sort of. Yeah, you were telling me what to do, but I did it by myself. Yeah.
It was more Jeff Tube. You didn't have to watch YouTube in the sun.
Thank God. Yes, I did. Yeah, I filled up the engine oil in my outboard engine on the houseboat. That's what I did.
You checked the engine oil first. You removed the cowling.
Checked it. I removed the cowling. I checked it. I filled it, and then I checked it again, and then I put the cowling back on.
Cowling is Bodie for the big cap that goes on top of your outboard motor.
Yeah, it was really hard. I just want everyone to know. It was
You had
definitely.
you had to lay
I'm
across
just-
the top of this thing.
I'm so glad that nobody was taking pictures at that point. Of it.
I was chuckling at one point, and you knew why.
I was like, I know how ridiculous. I was like, this is a lot. This is a lot.
You had to lay yourself across the entire top of the outboard motor
I'm telling you.
to reach the fill point.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and the latch to get the cowling off, and then the fill point and pour it in.
Also, whoa.
Yeah, but now you know how to do that. You can check the oil.
Yes, thank you
It was
for-
down a quart. You
thank
put
you
a
very
quart
much.
in.
A half a quart, but yeah.
Yeah, half a quart. It was down
It
half
was
a
down
quart.
a half a quart, put a half a quart in.
Yeah.
Yep, rock and roll. It was great. So knowledge and learning and growth. I'm growing in all the ways. It's really amazing, wonderful.
You,
It's good.
what I love is that you always sound so
Pissed off. I'm so glad I'm growing and
About the
learning. But also, I do appreciate it. I really do.
Houseboat or Beneteau?
All right. So we spent a lot more time with the houseboat, number
Yeah,
one.
big story, like couple, kid, all this
But
stuff.
also we got to get in it and we got to look around it.
Yeah.
And you know how I feel about houseboats. I
Yeah.
love them.
But also
I
the
wanna be
Beneteau
best
people
friends with-
had an inflatable dog ramp.
I know. And also we didn't get in it, so I don't know what's happening inside there. I liked the way it looked from the outside. I also immediately after the awkwardness was over, dude was like on it. He was like, we live here year round, so we're going to be out here in November in the snow. We're going to be having just as much fun because there's a heater. And I was like, you had me at November, you know?
Yeah.
Like
Yep.
it was great. Like I
Yeah.
loved.
He immediately knew that, like we said, we're giving stickers out to people who have cool boats. And he immediately started talking about why he was excited about the boat.
Yes, and he did have an inflatable dog ramp, which I feel like got dismissed when at the float of the week many moons ago.
Yeah.
But there it was in full deployment mode, and it was
It was
amazing.
like Paddle Pup or something like that.
I don't know, something. But it was great. I think I got a video of him deploying the paddle pup,
Yes.
which will now forthwith be called. But so I don't know as much about what is it called?
The Beneteau, and I can't remember
Beneteau.
the model name.
The Beneteau. And I looked, and my picture is too pixelated to remember it.
Okay.
Yeah, to be able to see it. But I don't know.
I'm going with the Beneteau because like long season. Heater, fully enclosed, drive that thing in the weather.
Well, the other thing about it is that it's got some get up and go that the beautiful houseboat maybe doesn't.
Nope.
Probably.
Nope.
And like that boat looked like it could get up and go.
Yeah. And that means you could cover a bunch of ground in all seasons, in like at
exactly.
least 3 seasons.
And I love a houseboat.
Yeah. Ladies and
But-
gentlemen, I think the Beneteau,
Beneteau it is.
the Beneteau whatchamadoodle. Yeah.
We already gave him.
We already gave him a sticker.
We literally gave him one 2 hours ago.
Yeah, and kind of the houseboat kind of wins because we gave him a sticker also. So, ladies and gentlemen, the Beneteau whatchamadoodle is your boat of the week. That is a wrap.
Yo ho ho, that's it for the Bodie Show. Pack the cooler, grab the lines, let's go, go, go. Yo ho ho ho.
Stay boaty.
Stay floaty.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Really appreciate you listening. Take care. Have a good week.